Ladies and gentlemen, we have been making insane profits over the past couple of days. And literally every single person was able to copy along my strategy and will be in an insane amount of profit, either over the last 24, 48, 72 hours, it doesn't really matter. I started this a few weeks ago. Anywhere along those lines, you could have been at a loss for maybe a few hours or so, but at this point, you'd be at an immense amount of profit, mostly because it just kept opening more and it kept working. Now, I've already said how convinced I am that this is going to keep working for a very long amount of time. And I've also explained that I'll be updating them every single day on this channel just to prove it to the people who think, maybe, because I think most people will regret not hopping in sooner. Now, let me add that this is my journey. You do not have to follow, but obviously because of the profits we are seeing, I'm very excited to share it with people. I'm not meaning sharing as in you can copy. I'm just saying sharing the results of the strategy I've worked on for a long time. Now, if you're talking about what are my next plans, today I'll be opening a few more bots. Why? Well, because even though this is a very high point and prices can drop from here, I'll be buying with an amount that I can just match. When things go down lower, I'll be buying more just to average my price a little. And what I'll be doing most likely tomorrow is a 100x challenge with these bots as well. Now you might think, what is that? A 100x challenge? Well, I'm going to be doing a $10,000 to $1 million challenge. And it could take a long time. It might take me 2 years or something like that, but it'll be a very fun journey to watch. And I think a lot of people will probably think of copying that one along. I think it'll work. It just might take some time though, but I'm highly confident I'll be able to do it. Again, give me some time, but I'll be able to do it. Now, I will quickly say, if you also want to join along with my bots, check out the links down below. You can use the first link to just sign up, the second link to claim yourself a bonus, use the first link first, then the second, and there'll be links down below as well to copy all my bots. So just click one of those if you want to copy along with them. It's very, very simple. And also, you get yourself between $30 and $100 just for signing up. You don't need your ID, you don't need anything, you can be from any country, it's that cool. But don't put the US if you have to choose a country. And also, the more you deposit, the more you get. If you deposit $5,000, you get $800 for free. If I was you, and this is not financial advice, just my thoughts, just deposit, claim yourself some free money because it's basically a pretty good return on whatever investment you've got. You can always end up, skipping, skedaddling, skedoodling, but at least try it out is what I would say. But again, not financial advice, just my thoughts. Link for that is down below though. It's Pionex. It's the one I'm using for this whole video for everything. In this case here though, I've only opened bots for XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, 𝗕𝗓𝗪, SUI, Ethereum, and Cardano. Today, I thought it would also be wise to open a few more, specifically with the bull run in mind. I thought a few good ones to open would probably be 𝗕𝗓𝗪, maybe a DOGE probably a BNB and a virtual, and maybe even a 𝗕𝗪𝗪. Now, keep in mind that these are also higher risk. They went up a lot. That does not mean the bot itself is higher risk. It just means it might take some more management. What does that mean? Well, the price was, for example, virtuals, 45 cents just last month. What does this mean? Well, it means we are buying in at a pretty high average price for the last couple of months. So what this means is if the price comes crashing down, we need some more money to buy the dip, and we need to have more, potentially, margin added to this bot to keep it running over a prolonged period of time. But this also is most likely going to be way more volatile than a Bitcoin, an Ethereum, or a Cardano bot, meaning you can also make a ton more profits on a shorter term. Now again, is this more dangerous? Obviously yes, because it takes more attention to stop it from getting liquidated. You have to pay more attention to margin. Then again, you could add a lot of margin from the start. I'll talk about it in just a second. But also, it is a lot more profit. But again, you don't have to copy all my bots at once. You could just copy along with one, maybe two. Maybe you only like to do XRP. Maybe you only like to do Bitcoin. And I'm thinking maybe I'll even do $2 million challenges, one for XRP and one with Bitcoin. And a big part of that strategy has to do with the idea of compounding our profits. Because again, if we start with $10,000, we need to compound it about 95 times if we just keep cashing in a 5% profit per period. And I mean, if you take a look at the results from all the bots thus far, if we just keep cashing out at 5%, yes, things might get dark for a while for a massive pullback, but ultimately, if you consider the fact that crypto never goes down for that long, Again, and we cashed out, for example, in this wave. Even if we started at a pretty unfortunate spot, for example, right here, right? Let's say we started Bitcoin right here at 27,000. It would have kept on buying as things went down lower, kept on selling on the pumps as well. As long as we did not get wrecked, it'll keep buying throughout that time and try to sell as the price goes higher. Our lowest spot that we bought will even be $15,000. And then over the next, let's call it here, let's call it almost 3 years, it would have kept selling, obviously also buying when it went down. And at this point, you probably would have had your million, or you'd be close to it. So again, this could have taken 3 years, but still the idea of starting out with, for example, $5,000 in 2022, having $1 million in 2025, I don't think it's that bad. Anyway, that's all for tomorrow's video. But I want to see, first of all, how many of you guys watched this far into the video. I will also give away, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll give $200 away to people in the comment section. All you got to do is press that like button and comment something down below. The $20 will be sent to your, because it's going to be $20 a person, to your Pionex account, so you can hopefully do something with the bots. Because a lot of people like to say an excuse for, I can't join 𝗕𝗓𝗕. I get it, I understand. But at that point, then you'll have no excuse to at least try. Once more, not financial advice. I'm just sharing my journey that I think will work very well for me. But obviously, you are your own financial advisor, I guess. You do whatever feels comfortable to you. All right, so now because again, we're going to open a few bots today. These will be bull run bots, meaning I might close these in a few months. I don't want these to run forever because you're going to lose a lot of profit as things come down. The idea is use them while the market's still hot, as again, the probability of these coins falling significantly in the bear is very, very high. Whereas with all the other bots I've opened, SUI, XRP, Bitcoin, ADA, all those, theoretically speaking, I could just keep open forever, and I think they'll keep printing me money. I think for the low, it's probably smart to have it at about 40 cents. I don't think there's any exact good spot here for virtuals because it's been so volatile. I'm just going to put 40 cents for now. I will adjust it later if necessary. And I think for a high point this time, if the altcoin season really is here, it'll probably get above its previous high point of earlier in the year. So I think for right now, maybe a target of about $7, $7.10, something like that would probably be a nice start. Again, we can adjust it higher as time progresses. I was even thinking of putting like $9 there, but let's just keep it quite conservative, $7. For grids, it would be about 444. Oh, you guys can't see it perfectly. Here we go. Hopefully now you can see these things a little bit better. I'm inserting a price range. Again, it's a very, very wide range, but I think for the bull market, this makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to click that auto reserve off, and I'm only doing 3x margin, or 3 times leverage, I should say, just because these bots are way more volatile. And again, I'm going to put $1,500 in every single bot, so it's pretty easy for people to copy, and because we're probably going to open up a ton of them over the next days or so. Anyway, so we can see now that our liquidation will be about $1.22. We again are going to have to buy as the price comes down hard, and potentially also will have to add extra margin to make sure we get this liquidation below like 40 cents. So again, keep that in mind that your liquidation price is quite high. This could happen in the span of a few days if you're not careful, but we will be. Anyway, so then in this case, we press create. Here it will explain basically how much it buys instantly and how much it basically keeps in cash so we can buy the dips. But we think this is fine, so let's quickly go and press OK. There we go, and we've opened up a virtuals bot. Again, I'll put all of these in the description down below so you can copy along if you wanted to, but let's take a look at BNB. So realistically speaking, I don't think BNB is gonna go below $400 ever again. I even don't think it's going to go below $500, but if we want to be really, really careful, we can place our lowest buy point at about $390 and adjust it if things start going south with a target perhaps more towards the $1,000 mark, slightly below it, just to, not be that close to the major resistance at 1,000. Let's just say about $957 sounds quite solid right there. So we put 957. For the quantity of grids, we put 453. Hopefully you guys can see it. There we go. And as the investment, again, we put about $1,500 right there. Again, I only do 3x leverage. I think with BNB would actually be fine with 5x. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'm looking at the liquidation price right now. We are completely fine with 5x as that puts the liquidation at 429. I'll have ample time to adjust this price. If it starts falling, that's still a lot of wiggle room. But again, you can always make a bot with only 3x, or if I update my sheet again, I've been putting in some numbers here, but if I update my sheet, I will most likely put one link for all my 5x bots and then also one more link for all the 3x bots so you can choose whichever one you prefer. Again, it just has to do with how much you have to manage it. And if you guys really want to, I can also put a link for 10x bots, but the problem is then you really have to stay on it, because if the price starts dipping, yeah, things are not so fun. Again, this is all really, really cool when things are going up, but the best part of the bot strategy is that you make tons of money if things go sideways or slightly down, which is why it's so different than just opening a long position. It's because you make just way more money this way when it goes up and then right down and then up and down. Whereas with the long, you'd only make money if it goes up and you actually sell. Now, before I move on, if you actually want to join me on this journey, you got to check out the links in the description down below. So this first link here is to join the website itself, right? So that's here, the partner Pionex link. Click that one and make yourself an account. Then the second link, and I've separated all these to just make it very, very clear, is a link to claim your bonus. You might think, why not just use the second link? Why not use this one? Just if you do it in this ordered way, you have the highest probability of everything going right. So I've linked everything separately just to make sure nobody can make any mistake, nobody can miss out on any different things. No, just one by one. So first you start with the first link, sign up, right? Get yourself an account. It might ask you where you're from. Don't put America. Don't put a country that is not, lenient towards crypto. Put a country that is easy, right? I'm not sure which one. Maybe like I don't know which country's easy, like Belgium or something. Maybe like, I don't know, how's Australia? How's Belgium? I don't know. You could try it out. Worst case, you make a new account, I guess, if you mess up. I don't know about that, but hey, there's no KYC. You don't have to verify your account. You don't have to put your ID in, so you're fine. I didn't put my ID in, and I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars on here. So again, I know it works. Anyway, so new bots open today. These are just, if you want to copy them, there's links down below to copy some specific bots. This is from a video a few days ago when I opened the XRP and Bitcoin bot, which right now, by the way, are in $11,000 and $21,000 worth of profit. So definitely not too bad for just 4 days. And this Ethereum and ADA bot I opened almost 2 days ago. They are 32 and 50% in profit as well. And we opened these live during a stream, just like how I'm kind of recording it right now, opening these. Again, it might look bad for a while, but eventually it'll all turn around. Anyway, so we can open up this this BNB bot by just clicking create. Let's go ahead and do that. And again, in this case here, we'll not actually buy that much relatively. It'll reserve a lot for the further downside, but that is completely fine. We could change the price range if we wanted to. For example, we could actually increase the lower bound to, for example, $490. You can see how that changes the ratio up significantly. But in this case here, $490. Let's quickly get rid of these. I'd say it's fine, actually. But this is, again, just to be safe. We're putting it below this previous low that we wicked to previously, right? So again, we're just doing that to keep ourselves safe. We'd probably be fine with having a lower bound of about 490, which, you know what? I'll do, actually. I'll change it on later. Let's go for 460 just to keep it on the lowest end that I think will make sense. There we go, 460, which will increase our current allocation by a significant amount. We go for OK. There we go. So we've also now added ourselves a BNB bot. Again, this might be at a massive loss for the start. We can always buy more if it goes to, for example, 430. We just average in again, and that's why I'm thinking, it does not actually matter that much what we put our lower bound at, because we will most likely be buying more anyway if the price starts to go south. And at that point, we are able to edit things, so it's all good. Now I think it's time to get ourselves a 𝗵𝗵𝗃 bot as well. By the way, we could do 50x if we wanted to, because some people keep tagging me saying, oh, I've made this or that much profit in such a short amount of time. And I always respond saying you can, but we are doing the strategies to protect ourselves from downside. It is very, very easy to make a ton of money when things go up, but the real key is in making money as things go down or go sideways. So again, let's set these settings in. 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is actually, out of all these, probably the most difficult one, because the price has gone from, let's call it 0.5 to about 0.13. And so let's just quickly see here. If we go 4 days back or something like that, we are down 50%, meaning in this case here, we can definitely not do anything above 3x leverage. As a price range, again, at this point, we're probably going to have to do 0.5. It's, by the way, very annoying to write this down. But there's a little trick. You can press this little plus. There you go. Then you can just copy this price that it says right here, right? So for example, for 𝗵𝗵𝗃, I still also think we have to go above the higher bound, but I don't want to do it by too much for 𝗵𝗵𝗃 just because it's going to be volatile already. So I'm going to put the highest target at roughly 3.4. There we go. Which is a very, very wide range, I know, but that's also because 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is, well, it's quite a crazy coin. It could definitely do that in a short amount of time. I don't want it to sell too much at these bottom levels. Ordered some water in the midst. So let us continue on. We put a pretty wide range. I'm still quite surprised by that. 432 grids for that. We don't put auto reserve, which is scary for this. We put 1500, but again, we're gonna have to buy the bottom anyway in case this price starts going crazy. Liquidation at 0.8. I think that is fine, all fine. We press create. This case here, it starts buying a pretty huge amount already, but that's all perfect. We press OK, and there we go. Fun fact, the bots we just opened are 0.4 and 0.2% of the profit. This will not always be the case. Many times when I open them, they're minus hundreds or minus thousands of dollars within minutes. But again, it's a longer term game. I really need people to understand this is not a short term plan. The profits might look amazing right now, you know, because we're up $40,000 in a week or two. It might look cool because it's 30% up. Wow, wow, wow. But again, I am not scared to be millions of dollars at a minus soon, because even one of my friends was minus $1.7 million 2 weeks ago, and right now it's plus maybe 100K or so. So that means he made $2 million back, or made it really, in the last 2 weeks. And the funniest thing is, give it a few more weeks, it'll most likely be $1 million, maybe $2 million in the plus if the market goes either sideways or up. If it goes down, all it takes is time, because the crypto market beautifully never goes down forever. Think about it. This also, by the way, works for stocks and all these. The only more difficult thing is the higher the volatility, the better this works. Why? Well, because you're also paying funding fee with the leverage to basically borrow money. And for example, some assets might move so little that the fee does not really make it worth it. That does not mean you won't make money. It just means that, let's say you end up making 7% a year, for example. It's good, but you know, it's a lot of wiggle and waggling for a 7% return a year. If it's like 20 plus, it would definitely be worth it. But so that's the only thing I'm talking about there. So we just opened ourselves 3 new bots though. 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗵𝗃, BNB, Virtual. I also want to open myself for sure. I think this would be very, very nice. A new bot for Altcoin. Why? Because farts, you know. I think it's just nice to have one for in case the price starts going absolutely berserk. Again, a very, very risky asset in that sense. It went from 15 cents to $1.30 in a very short amount of time. My lowest bound in this case here is basically 0. So I'm going to also put 16 cents here as the lowest point, and I'm going to put $2.50, which is great, like double the price right now, as the highest point. We put 441 grids. And this to me is so freaking scary. I'm going to put $1,500 in though, with a liquidation price of 75 cents, which is quite solid. But again, the price was 94 or 93 cents earlier today, I think, probably. Let's quickly see. No, 2 days ago. All right, so 2 days ago was 92 cents. It's up a lot, all right? But this, again, this is one of those coins that you're probably going to have to buy the dip of, because there's a very high chance of it falling right back down. But again, we only put $1,500 in because we are prepared for the price going down hard. Remember that, right? That's why we only do 3x leverage on Altcoin as well, not 5x as with most of my other bots. We could also start adding extra margin here, but again, we'll do that later. I'm not too worried about that for right now. All we got to do is now press create. We see how much it buys. You can see exactly how much it opens, etc., etc. We press OK. And from now on, the problems are going to start, because now we're going to have to watch this potentially be at a crazy loss. It depends on if the market moves up or down from here. You can see Virtuals, for example, is at a bit of a loss right now. Again, do not be shocked if this number is minus $400 tomorrow. We've seen the H-bar bot. Let me quickly open it up for you. We've seen the H-bar bot also go to, we put $1,500 in. It went minus $450 in a few days, and right now it's back up, you can see, to plus $250. In the middle, though, it's still just grinding out those grid profits on a $1,500 investment. This is how much it was able to cash out from just buying that dip, buying that dip, buying that dip. We did not buy the bottom here because I was going to buy it the moment it started going to minus 700 or 750, which obviously it did not get to. Here, I could have bought some small amounts, but I wanted to basically buy it at minus 50%, which it didn't get to. So again, that is always the strategy. Even every single one of these has been at a loss for a while. You can't even see it no more because it was a while back. But this Bitcoin bot was at a loss. This XRP main bot was also at a loss. You can still see one segment of it here where it was at a few $100 loss. The SUI bot has been mostly at a loss actually. But again, right now it's in pretty good amounts of profit. Actually, it's one of my best bots. The Solana bot was at a loss for also half the time, as you can see right here. And that is how it's going to be probably for a lot of the time. But ultimately, they always turn around. Even the XRP bot, you cannot see it. Domoro has been at a loss multiple times, even here at the start. And you can see it went from a high point, plus, how much was this? Plus like, I don't even know how much, plus let's say 30%, all the way back down to only plus 2%. In the middle though, it's been cashing out the grid profits by buying low, selling high. And then right now, for all the XRP was still holding, it is plus 1,300, which basically is half of my entire investment. So we're plus 50% because I was no wuss and I didn't chicken out. So again, we just opened a few new bots today. Altcoin has been opened, 𝗕𝗃𝗃 has been opened, BNB has been opened, and Virtual has been opened. There's a few more that could probably open like XLM. But maybe in a video tomorrow, I'll open XLM and then in another video do a challenge. Why am I doing these things separately? Well, because for XLM, I think a lot of people are excited for that. So I kind of believe it might be smart if I focus solely on where I think XLM is going, what my strategy is, and all these different things, plus just talking about XLM because I've not done it in a while, versus grabbing them all together. These are coins that I don't really talk about ever. You know, Virtual I don't talk about, even though I still also have my long on Blowfin that's still at minus 4K or so. Which is funny because I did cash out a few $1,000s before. My XRP position is only minus 20. Remember when this was minus $100,000, guys? So it's only minus 20,000. We bought $20,000 worth of XRP yesterday at $2.31, something like that. Oh, things are moving so nicely. Or maybe it's 2 days ago already. So right now, this XRP position is about 350,000. Here we have ourselves the XP position. How much is this one? About 250,000, I think this XP position is. Yep, there we go. Because we're stacking up a good amount. I want to get to $1 million worth of XRP in the positions maybe the next week or so. So we might have to buy some more. We were joking actually a few days ago, if you guys remember doing the stream, of stacking up a good bunch of XRP. Because I said we actually have enough money still in the account to buy another $3 million worth of XRP at just 10x leverage. If we up this, which I will not do, definitely not, we could buy significantly more because I still have about 300K that I can use in the account still. There was actually one person who said prop money. But assuming I don't actually have enough money to fund all this is kind of like an insult, really. So I'm just not even going to entertain that thought. Fun little fact, I sometimes find it shameful to open positions of, like, for example, here, $1,500 times 5x, because I sometimes think, who's interested in seeing a $7,500 trade? But then I realize, again, we got to stay humble a little bit. We got to realize that the numbers we're playing with here, theoretically speaking, are pretty significant, even though maybe you guys also have it though when you're doing all this crypto stuff that it doesn't feel like real money, huh? Again, I just deposited $135,000 into this account like 2 weeks ago or something, or actually 15,000. We can see right here on the 21st of April, and then I put $120,000 in. All we put in was $135,000, and right now it's at 176. So it's $41,000 in like some weeks. Not even a month has passed. Not even, I think, 3 weeks have passed. And I'm like, we need to open bigger trades. We need to go crazy. But in reality, we've made $40,000 on this in just a few weeks. And the funniest thing is, I'm not even thinking of cashing out because this is peanuts to what we're going to make soon. Anyway, some of you might be thinking, Dusty, why are you making a video on bots again? It's because out of all the things I've tried, and I've been here making videos 8 years every single day on this channel, this is one of the best ways to trade crypto without actually putting that much work into it. All you got to do is pay attention to your liquidation price, add margin in case things start going down lower to basically lower your liquidation price or lower your leverage at that point. And we got to pay attention to the upper bound. Basically, if the price starts going exactly how we predict it's going to go, up a ton, we basically do not want it to sell everything as the price starts going higher. But also, we don't want to put the upper bound too high. Why? Well, if you put the upper limit very, very high, then at these lower levels, it's going to buy more. Because let's just say your initial price is $5. You put the lower bound at 2 and the higher price at 7. If you change that from 7 to 14, now all the lower prices like $2, $3, $4, $5, $7, even $7 now, if your upper price is 14, the higher bound, it sees as low. So it's going to buy significantly more at these lower prices. Whereas if your highest price was 9, then, for example, $7 would be very, very high. So if it dips, it wouldn't actually buy that much unless it's all the way back down. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's also why you don't want to change your upper bound too quickly. In bull markets, that's also how some people get wrecked. But I'll guide everybody through this as time progresses. Again, if you want to get yourself a nice little deposit bonus or sign-up bonus, $30 to $100 just for signing up. No KYC necessary. You don't even need to verify your account. It's that crazy. This will only last for like 1 more week. So grab it while it's hot. It's just free money. Literally, it's that simple. And also, you can get yourself a deposit bonus. The more you deposit, the more you get. Deposit $5K, you get $800 for free, which to me just sounds like a no-brainer. Worst case, you trade for a bit, take your... Okay, I will not even say what I would do if I was you. Anyway, links are down below for that. There's a link in the description with the bonus, but also just get yourself free money. It's a link right there. Just try it out. You can use it for any place in the world. And I'll remind you guys one more time. You might copy this and be at a loss for a while. It's a longer term game. If you are fixated on short term, this might not be for you because I've got the vision. I know what's going to work. And same for my $10,000 to $1 million challenge. It might take time. But if you're in a hurry, this might not be a thing. But again, this is just one of the easiest, most profitable strategies that I've got, which is why I'm sharing it. not because it's the fastest way to make tons of money. The fastest way to make a ton of money is going to an exchange like this, opening a 50x long and praying on your knees. It's also the quickest way to get wrecked, whereas with this method, it's very, very hard to lose. But yeah, that's just my point of view. If you enjoyed it, make sure you press the like button. It's a long video, but there's a lot of information to talk about. I have to update my sheet here again with the new bots that have opened, and I'll have to edit this also so you guys can just click it from the description down below. But besides the point of that, I think I'll also make it so that there's two options. One for 3x leverage, one for 5x. And I won't add 10x or anything like that because I think it's just too risky, and I don't want people to do it. You can always make your own bots if you want to, but 10x is nice in bull markets, sure, but it requires so much management that it's not something I think I want to put in my sheet. I think I should only do 3x, maybe a few 5x's as well for major coins. But for small coins, 5x also, if the price moves down 20%, with 5x, that's a lot of freaking money, right? That it moves down. If you're able to stomach it, then cool. But 3x is just a lot easier on altcoins. And again, just because I'm doing 5x doesn't mean you also have to. You can always do 2x leverage if you want to, for example. But that's, it's not that much movement then. But hey, it depends on how safe you want to play the game. This all is backing off of the fact that Bitcoin throughout the history has always only gone up. Right now, we've gone up so much that a pullback is expected by some people. ETH is at 2,500, for example. A lot of people are saying, this is the top, this is the top. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't think this is the top of the season. And even if it is, look back at it, right? This, for example, this move down for Bitcoin, this would have been awful for a while to look at. But as long as you survived this method down, you would have had years of just cashing in profits. So let's say you started out with $10,000 here. You might only have $1,000 by this point, but then at the top right here, you might have yourself $90,000. So again, it took time, but that's the strategy of buying as the price goes down lower, so you can stack up and make tons of money as the price goes up. Hopefully, I noticed now that my microphone was the opposite way. Hopefully you guys could have still heard me. That would suck if this entire video nobody could hear. But that's about it for the entire freaking strategy. So we opened some new bots today for this bull market. This is going to be awesome. I'll probably not keep these open for after the bull, but of course I'll talk about it as time progresses. And I might open a few more crazy coins in the next few days, especially if you guys want to see more. Tomorrow I'll for sure open up XLM, and we'll also do or start the $10,000 challenge, maybe two. It depends on whether you guys want an XRP or a Bitcoin challenge, because both of them are going to be a very, very interesting journey, but it might be smart to focus just on one, depending on what you guys say. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little update on our $1 million strategy, and that's about it for right now.